Hey everyone, welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. And when we last left off, we did episode 5, Rise from the Ashes, day 3, trial former. Now we are on day 3, trial letter. When we last left off, we had learned that possibly Jake Marshall might be somehow into this because we saw, I think it was his bloody handprint, I think it was, or we saw his fingerprints. I think it was fingerprints. Inside the evidence room. Also, we learned a little bit more about the SL9 case. Apparently, Emma and Lana were a part of it, or somehow involved in it. Yeah, I don't really remember much else, but we'll get into it. Okay, February 24th, 12:14 p.m., District Court, courtroom number 9. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Yes, Emma didn't come back. Yeah, she ran off because it was the dark killings. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. Officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime, Mr. Jake Marshall. The sheriff himself. Or I guess Marshall. Witness, please state your name and occupation and quit drinking. Oh, come on, you're in a courtroom. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering in the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross the intersection when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know. You're a patrolman. Oh, my. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. He's shaving too? Really? What do you mean? A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sand. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Yes, thank you, Judge. Please share with us the testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. Thank you. He's probably going to be like, that's no fun, but alright. My job was keep a wary eye on the bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. The room's protected by 2 security systems anyways. If I remember right, I was at the street side saloon at the time it went down. What the heck? I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time to hit the trail. Okay. That was not English. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. Can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Oh my gosh, this guy. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? Okay, so security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. What about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence lockers? Good point. Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? Oh my gosh. He's being very helpful, yes. He's not that good with machines, or with following orders. Everyone got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Thank you, Judge, for making me to deal with this guy. Okay. Bone orchard? What's a bone orchard? How do you keep an eye on the evidence room? I made sure nothing moved on the security cameras. Even time dies in there. Okay. You interred them. Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When time comes, I erase the tape. So if nothing unusual happens, the tapes are erased after 6 hours. Each time I erased a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room. Correct. Okay, supposed to make rounds 3 times a day. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Hey, you heard a word I said, partner. I told you ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets rules get in his way. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't even set foot in the evidence room that day. That sounds like a lie. There was a rubber glove stuck to the victim's locker. Do you know anything about it? Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. Haven't been in the crypt in weeks. Rooms protected by 2 security systems. Used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course. Back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence. And yet, you don't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism. Sorry, partner, I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That is incredible. Sensor on the locker's handle cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Okay. At any rate, doesn't seem this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? Street side saloon. Okay, so you're getting a drink. What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Oh, spaghetti. Not even angel steak lunches can beat the parlor's, okay, pasta. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat noodles? Spaghetti, sir, spaghetti. Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. Do you not want to raise this? Okay. Just an innocent traveling man. Okay. Out of ammo, officer. That's right, partner, or you can call it evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, you better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset. One thing seems clear, despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness does not appear to have seen anything. Yes. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Oh. I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I'll best keep my cool. Okay. Okay, so that is all of that. What type of evidence do we have? Just an innocent traveling man. So, if you're an innocent traveling man, why do I have bloody fingerprints here? Not so innocent having bloody fingerprints. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime, and yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind the scene, or so to be exact, a handprint. Huh, listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. Pay our respects, that is, make my rounds once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be here. But these weren't just any fingerprints. They were bloody. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness! What is the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were on the crime scene? The blood was wiped away, however. Yes, we tested it, and it revealed this. It seems to me, there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation, then? About the blood-stained fingerprints? Very well. Begin your testimony. What's your idea, okay? Why would you have blood-stained fingerprints? Like I said, only natural my fingerprints were in the evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprints was by mistake. The bloodstain and the fingerprints are completely unrelated. Is that possible? Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it. Wait. Did we say the murderer wore gloves? Did we say that? The witness's explanation appears valid, although there is room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. Okay. Defense may now call to examine the witness. Now's my chance to prove it. Okay, we'll press him on everything, and I think at the very end there, when he said that the person was wearing gloves, I think if we showed the gloves, that might be it. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in the evidence room. Press. That's because you, how do you put it, pay your respects once a month. Locker happened to be mine. I mean, what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective, the locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is heaps of broken dreams. It'd be strange if my prints weren't on the locker. Yeah, that's true, actually. But why are they bloody, okay? Why are they bloody? Okay, so... on Marshall's own locker. I don't think they could just happen to be right at the same place. Wasn't mine. It's no mystery. My locker is covered with my fingerprints, just so happened. Oh. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1, but there is still a chance. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances are that happened are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with mere fingerprints. Wanna know why? The bloodstains and the fingerprints are completely unrelated. Are you sure about that? They're different as night and day. Kind of like cereal and cereal. Cereal and cereal. One's got to do with breakfast, the other's a type of murder. He's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different. Okay. Okay, the murderer was wearing gloves. How do you know that? Exactly, thank you. Maybe a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on reports. There was a bloodstain on the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. However, no fingerprints were detected on that print. So I mean, the murderer was wearing gloves. That's right, only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood in dessert is just the food for the buzzards. Oh. There's only one reality, and that's this. The security tape. As long as my trail isn't there, you can't say otherwise. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Okay. Too bad it wasn't me and the video partner. What if it was? Okay, what if he dressed up as the guy? You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots. Places you can't see. Yeah, the floor isn't shown, correct. And if someone was familiar with the commander's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculation, Mr. Wright. Officer Marshall was present. Please do so now. Let's see what we can show. Okay. So he was talking about the tape. So let's look for his locker. His locker was the one over here on the left. I thought. I don't see anything. Okay. I don't see crap on here. Nothing's changing. Wait! That changed! Bring our attention back to the security camera. It's a mistake, I'm afraid. You'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. Days are short in Texas, and so are the tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in less than 8 words? Very well. You can clearly see in this video. Exactly 8 words, not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white cloth sticking. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Yeah, so if we go back... Okay, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And it's not there. The white cloth is gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. That would seem to be the case, Mr. Wright. Order! Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was opened? Doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he stuck a locker and he opened a locker and stuck it in. But the fingerprints, sir! It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a one man? This guy isn't playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. Okay, if you were the only one... The evidence locker. Yep. Only the assigned person. A fingerprint sensor? We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Is that magic? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something. Okay. The locks aren't obvious. There are even some people on the force who don't know about the fingerprint locks, like Jake Marshall. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? Do you have jerky? Did they let him have jerky in here? I only got 1 word for you, partner. No! Did he get shot? No! Order, order. Explain. This is a joke. It's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Please answer the question. Please, please. Come on. That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. Have a look at these floor plans. No place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then where was the witness? That's right, the only possible conclusion. He crammed himself in a locker. No, I'm kidding. Where was Officer Marshall during the crime? There. Officer Marshall was standing right here. That's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was? Wait, that was him. Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up as Detective Goodman. Finally. The truth comes out. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. Asked him to show his card. And how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me. That's how he responded. Something about Officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Answer is simple, he couldn't show it. As you see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his card. If he showed that, his cover would be blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man was Detective Goodman. If you have anything to say, you've got quite an imagination, partner. We've got a term for that. called circumstantial evidence. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as a victim. Wait. The clothes. Where are the clothes in the locker? I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complain. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt? Well? I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. This can't be happening. It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. Thank you, Edgeworth. Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. I should look for the evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Okay. There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might have discovered later. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. After the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. I'm sure he hid the disguise in there. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. Let's look at the video then. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker and put away the white cloth. Okay, so let's look. Okay, we can fast forward a little bit here. Okay, nothing. Okay, here comes Meekins. Here comes Meekins. Oh! There's blood on his shoulder. That's different. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room. Yet, okay. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When he asked to show you your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. The bloody white coat. Couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid your coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Are you saying I'm correct? Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, it was... If you were only half as persistent as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now, would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. Alright, seems the time has come. Oh, a confession! Oh, he's actually confessing. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole a detective ID and dressed it like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins to knock him out and manage to escape. I knew which areas couldn't be caught on camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. So the supposed victim was really you. There's only one thing I still don't understand. Traces of large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room, also on the cactus inside his evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. That's possible. Oh wait, it's way too much blood for such a small donation. Okay, we need to go through his confession. Why did you have to do it that day? When you say it, you mean... The SL9, yes. 2 years have passed since the case was closed. It was going to be completely ended and transferred over that day. The incident is not over. Okay. When the case is closed, only the case lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself, no matter what cost. Okay, so you had to act as Goodman so you could go look at it. Stole the detective's ID, dressed like him, planned to take out the evidence. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence. So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card. So that's why Goodman started filling out the report. Yep. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. Oh, so that's the reason why it was there. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean, the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open the lock yourself. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Okay, so you knocked him out. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins. Just say I was a little surprised. Was it that knife that you're using right now to shave yourself? Only planned on being in evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. One in a million type of person, Meekins. Yep. I'll have to think a little more about this raise. Oh, okay. Anyways, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry I had to turn out that way. What happened to your knife? That's a good question. This one? It was the one he's shaving with. So you knocked out Officer Meekins and you stabbed him. Okay, and you knew the area that the camera was. 6 hours, all gone planned, no footage would have been seen. However, you bloodied your coat in the struggle with Officer Meekins, correct? Open the locker, stashed it in there. He was sleeping like a baby. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. I guess that's correct if you're the one in there. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates crime took place. The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. That is true. That is true. So, you stole the evidence from the locker. No, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? It was already gone? Mr. Edgeworth, where is the evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Wait, I actually have a screwdriver from there. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer, is no small offense. You're not an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven, a simple cut in the salary. What is it? Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer. I can't just forget about the SL9 incident. You know why? Why? Press it. Go on. Yeah, it was solved. Joe Dark is convicted of his crimes. One thing I'd say for sure is he deserved a sentence. Involves serial murders? Yes. But there's something that still bothers me. Something that went down on that trial. Something no one will talk about. Who is that? What is that? Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with something that think his real reason. Okay. Take another look at the files. Know why? Okay, what if we present him here? Here we go. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice. Oh gosh, the cactus juice. I have the SL9 incident files here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. And a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor's award you got. He must have talked about the King of Prosecutors Award, yep. Now I remember, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right, he was killed, and the case fell into your hands. He was my oh, your brother? I thought he was your father or something. Which he does look young, so he was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant. The group of detectives I was worked under them. We were just desperate to prosecute the killer. Is that him? Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. It was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That's all we needed. He was arraigned with incarcerated. The case finally closed, at least according to the public records. My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. That's your reason for your insane actions? That's true. There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Okay, okay. At least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened to the police department. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Yep, so he disguised himself as Goodman, went in there, confronted Officer Meekins. This mystery has finally been cleared up. But we still don't know about the death at the prosecutor's parking lot. No murder took place at the police department that day. The thing that happened by chance never ceases to amaze. Exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance. So no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime. That means the murder in the prosecutor's parking lot was the real one. Now hold on. Maybe we have some more evidence. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. But wait, okay? A verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. There's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. It seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All the mysteries of the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. Our only suspect is Lana Skye, and the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. A single word, really? At least Marshall gave us 8 words or less. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There is no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. We just helped him out. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana's guilty. Yeah. Now then, the time has come for the verdict. Hold it! Oh, wait. Who? Emma. Your Honor, wait! The defense is an objection. Scientific objection. What do you mean? Mr. Wright? Are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor? In a sense. Please, Your Honor. All I'm asking for is a minute of your time. Please let me hear. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. Oh, wow. You give her 3 minutes, you give me 1 word. I see who you like, Edgeworth. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to Joe Dark's killings. Names of both Skye sisters are on that port. But that's when I figured it out. That Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. His fingerprints had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other handprint. But no fingerprints were found on that locker, correct. But I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'm sure I'd find a clue. I ran over there and looked again. Do you actually find something? No. How is that helpful? How is that helpful, Emma? Huh? Sorry. I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. We can't find something wrong with them? Please, Mr. Wright. You're a professional. Thank you. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at your police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. You're correct. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered here. There's a problem with this. Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if you can find anything wrong with the blood mark, Lana will be. Yes, Your Honor. That's where the blue badger was, correct? I object. Of course, okay? We can't just, like, let it go. This handprint is left at the crime scene. Clearly shows a contradiction. Okay, only thing that seems clear is you're grasping me, Mr. Wright. Tell us, is there a problem with them? Take a good look at these floor plans. Something's missing. You mean something wasn't drawn on there? You're correct. The blue badger. Will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. I would never judge. I would never. Very well, Mr. Wright. It's gotta be the blue badger. He's not in there. What about a piece of plywood? The blue badger, mascot of the police force. Defender of truth and guardian of proof. Please look at the floor plan. Yes, he's not there. So watch what happens when we put him in. Yep. Well, what? Edgeworth figured it out. What is it? That's right. So long as the blue badger is dancing there, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker. Oh, what? So that means... Just exactly what does that mean? What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found in the locker. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the badger to the evidence room, correct? After he put it down, it was impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that must mean this blood mark was left before the blue badger brought in. But it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice. But how? Oh. One time was captured on this tape. The other time was deleted. Problem is, the other time is not on tape. Because we can't see it because of the blue badger. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. Oh my gosh. Phoenix! That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in these security tapes has been proven to be a fake. However, this does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, you're assuming this murder you purport really happened. I demand you show evidence. Prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who has proposed Detective Goodman, posing as him, Another incident took place. That's right, the mark proves it, yes. Now I can. Will the defense please present your evidence? Now I can present this. Because if we check on here, there was a person that went in before my Mr. Edgeworth or Meekins. I think this will work now. Crime took place inside the evidence room. In order to do so, an ID card would have been required. And the record, yes. Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room right there. So Miles Edgeworth was there before. And then there is the 7777777 one. If crime took place before the time would be 4:40. Miles Edgeworth. Ah, Miles! Just what have you done? I never would figure you did, nerd boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away. So you're telling me Miles cleaned it up. Would have just been 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. The crime must have taken place before Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Who's the 771? There's only one other card. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How does Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of this card being used beforehand. He must have entered along with the real murderer. Oh! That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 77. Please look into this ASAP, Edgeworth. Find out whose ID number is 77777. That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that card. Why? Explain yourself, son. ID number of that belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. It's higher up in the command. Someone who is so-called executive officer. I don't have authority to inquire into such a person's identity. But that's ridiculous. Just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There's one situation in which we can grant such an authority. If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's just how prosecutors and officers operate. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate if you would keep your slander to yourself. Let me ask you a question. To her, the defendant sitting over there, your own little executive, Lana. Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course, we've looked up her ID number, and it's not that. Don't play with me, fool, son. That's not what I asked. All I want to know is one thing about the incident. Answer me, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? That's a good question. Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Lana, you didn't lie, did you? I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Just what are you saying, defendant? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During the trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me in the investigator in that crime in the eye and say what you did? I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order to get him to get the verdict we deserved. Even if it involved forging evidence. Lana actually forged evidence? Oh, wow. Judge? See? That's what I'm talking about. No. Oh, the courtroom is in an uproar. Order, order. Come on. Forging evidence? Lana's remarks caused a stir. Chaos would have waited until the following day. That got us an extra day. Lana doing that just gave us an extra day to look around. Beautiful. Save. Mm-mm. We get another day of investigation. Hooray. Hooray. Okay, so we need to go to the evidence room and see what's inside Jake Marshall's locker to make sure that's real. Well, actually, that might not matter. Oh well. Yeah. So, all of that happened. So we figured out that it was Jake in there, dressed as Detective Goodman. And there was no murder there, or at least there wasn't a murder on the tape. And there could have possibly been one before. And I have a guess. I have a guess of who the 777777 number is. I have a feeling it's Gant. Okay, like the chief detective or chief police officer dude. Even though I like him quite a bit, I have a feeling it's his. But yeah. Anyways, next time we'll be back doing another investigation, so the day 3 investigation, and then we'll be followed probably by another couple court days. So, anyways, thank you for watching very much, and I will see you guys next time. So, bye-bye.